micro expressions, just no one is seeing it.
Oh, I know they do now because we've done those things where we have to have the cameras on our face and the dots and all that
the
stuff.
PCAP stuff?
Yeah, the facial capture.
And then, even then, though I have the script in front of me, I'm like, someone is gonna technically see me?
You know, that's actually, you know, I'm glad mocap exists for people who did theater for us to do something with those skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's nice.
I did an entire game where I had to do facial capture, and it was actually very funny because like I have like slight facial asymmetry, and I watched like a line. I was like watching like some YouTube playthroughs of the game, and I noticed a little like facial quirk that I do, and I was like,
It's the character. Acting.
that's actually my face. It's a customizable face. So was it my face? No, but that's the way my face.
But like little visemes or whatever they
Yeah,
have.
so it was like this, so it was like a completely different face, but doing what my face does, and I was like, oh, cool.
Love this. I love this so much. All right, audience members, we are all wonderful, loving, polite people.
Yeah,
We'd
y'all
love to
wanna
ask some questions. The microphone is right over here, so please form an orderly line. And we'll start
Slowly
taking
walk
questions.
up. Don't all get up at once, my God.
Yeah. No, like race, like it's death battle now. Push each other out of the way. Oh my God, no, this is Canada. Y'all would never.
What's wrong with that?
Sorry. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Hi.
Hiyo.
Hey there.
Hi, so what shows do you guys like recommend to the audience to watch?
Oh my gosh.
That's a very dangerous question.
Are you talking about like specific like anime or like any show?
Like any show in general.
Any show.
Oh no.
Okay. This is not because I voice the narrator in it, but I freaking love Physical 100 on Netflix. That is the funniest show. Like, you've never seen a show that made you feel so out of shape than Physical 100. When you have a guy holding like a 200-pound boulder for like an hour, right? He just stands there and holds it, and you're like, what have I done with my life? I recommend Physical 100, and for anime, I recommend. No, I can't recommend that one.
Family friendly.
Yeah, no, I can't recommend that one. Okay.
No hentai.
No, that's
Family friendly.
Food Wars is not hentai. It's close. It's wholesome. No, it's not wholesome. So I really like the Slayer series. It's an older show.
Yeah.
Slayer's Next, Slayer's Try is still probably my favorite anime series. Yeah.
I think y'all should watch like Star Trek, honestly. Deep Space Nine. I love Deep Space Nine. That's a great series. That's the one that like Christian got me into
It's
first.
so good.
In fairness, I feel like the later seasons are the best part of
The
DS9.
later seasons are amazing once it's like that, like the war
Like
arc.
from season
basically.
4 onward.
But
yeah.
like, it's actually really fascinating because, you know, we now exist in a culture where a lot of things like really tight Netflix shows or like tight, like 10 episode arcs where it's like there's no room for like what are essentially filler episodes that don't further the main plot but do a lot of really great stuff for characterization. And Deep Space Nine, it's a master class and like, you know, this is kind of like a featured character and like they're going through this specific thing, like Jadzia is discovering that she has a Jadzia. Oh, Rom's face. Jadzia is so pretty, guys. And okay. And like, you know, like when Dax is like finding like the other Dax hosts in her head and finds out about like the one lost Dax host that was kind of erased from it. That episode was so beautiful. Did it contribute to the main plot? No, not at all. But it's like this information that sometimes comes back in later seasons and later episodes and things like that. It's super fascinating. And I miss that style of television where... Yeah. And then I think I mentioned this at the panel yesterday, like, if you haven't seen Madoka, I think, like, I'm not even doing this just to, like, make you guys feel pain, but because it was...
It's a very sweet magical girl show. I don't know what you're talking about.
Girl show. But, like, no, I mean, genuinely, like, it is, like, sort of not, iconic isn't the right word, but it was just like, you know, genre defining. Formative, a very formative show. And I think that, you know, because it's older, maybe a lot of people haven't watched it, but like, I recommend it.
The only thing I want to add was about Deep Space Nine. I'm pretty sure to this day, my wife would still cheat on me with Quark.
Okay, it's Quark, man.
Loves Quark.
I know, we had this conversation at Universal.
What
and,
an
like,
amazing love letter to the Ferengis Deep Space Nine is, honestly.
I know.
Like,
okay, I will say this about Deep Space Nine. Ferengi episodes are so hit or miss. Sometimes you get a Ferengi episode and you're just like, oh my God, why is this happening? And then when it's a good Ferengi episode, like House of Quark, you're just there like, this is art. So good.
I will always recommend to everybody, and I'm still recommending it to Christian, and he refuses to watch it, is please watch The Good Place if you've never seen it. That's a great view on moral philosophy and life and death, and it went out on such a perfect high note. That final season summarizes like the human experience so beautifully. I love it.
Gotta give it to shows for ending on having a really good final episode.
That's the thing. I love shows that don't outlive their welcome. Like those shows that like keep going. Oh, we gotta make another season. No, the show like.
You mean
says
How
what
I
it
Met
says.
Your Mother?
Don't.
No, shows that like know what they are. You have 2 seasons, 3, 4, and it's like a perfect story in those seasons. That's all you need. And The Good Place is one of those shows. And then as far as an anime, I'm a tokusatsu nerd, so I will always tell everyone, please, for the love of God, go on Crunchyroll and watch Kamen Rider Double Futo PI. I just want more tokusatsu in America.
Yeah, it's such a specific series. Like,
It's a kid. Tokusatsu Kamen Rider is a kids show in Japan, but it does focus on some very adult interactions and relationships with people. I've been rewatching. I just finished Zio. I'm watching X8 right now. I was watching Build, which is one of my favorites.
seriously, don't mind me right now. There's just a fly.
I know. I see it.
It's been plaguing us for like
I'm gonna see if
20
I can get it. Oh,
motherfucker.
fuck. They're so sensitive.
It knows.
They know.
I saw him. I'd lean back and look at him. But no, Tokusatsu is one of those things that America doesn't get as much. I'm glad that like Ultraman in North America is becoming bigger as well. But please watch Kamen Rider, just because the more numbers it gets, maybe Toei will finally decide to let us have more of it, and maybe they'll even let us dub it one day.
I can't like say an anime that people in here probably haven't seen. If you haven't seen the original Trigun, you're wrong. It was the first anime I ever like found on my own. Be like, oh, I really like this. Yeah, and I watched it toe to tip. And
Absolutely.
it's fantastic. If going back to nerding out on mythology and depth psychology, Joseph Campbell's The Power of Myth is like a 6-episode series with Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers and that. Somebody wooed. Oh my god! But if you ever want to like understand why we tell stories to each other and how weirdly we've all been telling the same stories to each other, no matter how geographically separated we are for tens of thousands of years, it's 6 hours of your time. You won't be disappointed.
Joseph Campbell's Power of
The
Myth.
Power of Myth. It's an interview series between him and Bill Moyers.
I just got another shiny snivy.
Congratulations.
I'm looking at it right now.
So whenever I try and find new media, my process, especially if I'm trying to find something like larger to watch that's like, older, is if I get an audition and there's a character reference there deliberately, and that happens more than twice in a year, I'll go and watch that whole series, whatever it is, because it'll be like, oh, clearly this is resonating with some producers or somebody, at a studio somewhere, and it's just like, I'll see what this character is about, and it's like reading a manga before you like audition for something. You're just like, let's see what this character is about in context, right? So I watched, for that reason, I watched all of Battlestar Galactica. I watched all of Stargate SG-1. There we go.
That is my other rage. Stargate SG-1.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite sci-fi series. I love like Star Trek and The Next Generation. Deep Space Nine is fantastic as well. Let's see. I watched Band of Brothers because of that, which I had never seen before. Phenomenal take on war. And then I watched. That was, and then somebody recommended it was. Well, that was how I got into Warhammer. I was like, oh, I want this character in the Warhammer verse is kind of what we're looking at, and it's like a really specific reference. But I went and started reading all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is all artfully written and really poetic, and like I grew up Catholic, so like Warhammer is just like, oh my god, this is like satire on Catholicism, and I'm like, yeah, okay, there you go, cool. I resonate with this. But for an anime recommendation, I got 2, and they're kind of in the same vein. One is Akudama Drive. If you haven't seen Akudama Drive, it's just like you were talking about, it is a concise story, 12 episodes, beginning, middle, and end. By the character designers who did Danganronpa, so they all have very, very unique silhouettes and aesthetics and vibes. And there's a solid ending, no sequel, no cliffhanger, nothing. The second one is in the same vein. These are all kind of like Ocean's 11 type stories called Super Crooks, which is on Netflix. Whoa, I didn't do that, I promise. That's based on a Mark Miller comic book, and that is basically a character that I voiced named Johnny Bolt, kind of like a low-time criminal, and it's not like super.
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sins. He's a dead man walking, blank stare in his eyes. Should have given up on the ones I trust. Never should have been surprised when they shot him.